Why is it backwards?
I don't know. Share it.
These chairs are so deep. What did Nikki Haley do?
She just says time to move on from Trump.
You shouldn't have followed him.
She just says time to move on.
Are we on right now?
Yep. Well, I mean, they can't hear us. Well, they can hear us a little bit. Well,
Are you ready?
well, Is it loud? Too loud?
Look.
Somebody's. Shoot. Can you hear it? Okay. iPad. Go.
Oh, Lord.
When?
Monday.
High person.
Mm-hmm.
This will take care of it.
I wonder how many you have to have drip.
We'll just get them all. Just. Hey, good morning, Dr. Sunseri, Michelle Demers, Sunseri, all things legal. You give us a call at 260-1870. And I'm here with my wife, Michelle, and we're doing this on location.
We are doing it on location.
We're adhering to the New Orleans COVID guidelines
There you go.
set forth by the mayor, which says, don't stay away from New Orleans and go spend your money somewhere else.
We did just that.
So we're in Florida.
We're in Sandestin.
So we're in Sandestin.
Here in Florida, some of our income.
That's right. So Florida's getting the income because we're just following the mayor's orders not to spend the money in the city of New Orleans. So we're just being good citizens
There you
here.
go.
But,
For being virtuous.
virtuous, yes. I like to virtue. I like to signal virtue.
Me too.
I like to do things to make people think I'm virtuous.
Especially in Florida, since there's no mask mandate.
Well,
I'm very virtuous.
Well, we're not going to go there. Your people wear ribbons and stuff, and say I'm a good person.
Yeah.
So, but we're from Florida. We're all ripped up, and we're doing okay.
We are.
And we're hearing the weather back home. And you were just saying,
How many bosses do you have to have drip?
yes, I know. This isn't the Lagrange show.
No.
Paul Lagrange show. I wish if he wants to call in.
If Ms. Polly can let us know.
There's not how many pipes we need to.
I remember living in Mid-City in law school, and it was one of those horrible freezes where all the pipes burst, and it was not fun. We didn't have water for like a week.
Yeah, well, the city of New Orleans doesn't know what to do with cold.
I know. And then
I mean,
talking
just
about the
put it out
streets
there.
getting icy.
Well, that's it. That's because when you have, when streets ice up in New Orleans, people don't know how to drive,
Right.
me included.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so that's it's just very hazardous. Because at least up north, you know the protocol,
Right.
and you know the snow tires, and you just know how to
Right.
do the little things such as start and stop. in a car, which you don't know.
Well, you can say off the road. My deal is about the house freezing, the pipes freezing. So maybe if we have a plumber out there, he can call us and tell us
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I usually just keep 1 or 2 dripping,
Yeah.
but
Well, so I guess we'll have to depend on our friends and family mostly to help us
yeah.
navigate that. So, but you see, Sandestin started the unofficial vacation spot for college and NFL coaches.
You were saying that yesterday when we were walking around.
Well, LSU, I mean, the SEC has its media day at Sandestin in July. And part of the reason they do it is because it's the location for SEC, but a lot of the coaches, the Saints coaches, LSU coaches, they come here to vacation and recharge before the season starts. So that's
it's beautiful. I hadn't been here in years.
Yeah.
We walked the whole thing. We walked about 10 miles.
Yes. So we're doing, got out of town, as the mayor said, don't spend any money in Louisiana, in New Orleans. So we're not doing that. So we're just being good citizens. But we don't live, we're actually St. County here. And so we're going to talk about, I think what we talk about today is Medicaid eligibility for long-term care. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about that. And I think we probably talk about it most of the day because there's a lot of different, people actually do things that sort of
hinder rather than help.
Hinder, that's a good word. That's a good word. Also, I guess on the sports front, LSU beat Tennessee yesterday. They're on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. You know what on the bubble means?
It is. They're just right on the cusp.
Right. So they play, I believe they play Auburn, they play Arkansas, they play Vanderbilt, and they play Georgia. Last 4 games. They will have to win at least 3 out of the 4 to stay in the hunt. Which is different.
They're a young team, then, huh? No.
All college teams are pretty much young because the good players go off to the NBA, 1, 2, 3 years. But I would say they're very talented that haven't played together. They're 5 individuals on the court at the same time. It hadn't been a situation where the whole's greater than some of the parts.
Who were we watching that they played last week that really played well together?
Well, SEC team or
Well,
it's a difference. I think. Well, here's the thing with LSU: they don't have a point guard who's a pure penetrator. A couple of years ago, we had Tremont Waters, who's a great penetrator, and he penetrate kick. You get a lot of easy buckets, but Nas Reed and some of the big men.
Right.
We don't have one of those today. Now we have, we do have a penetrator, but he doesn't kick. In other words, doesn't pass. And so.
Is the problem because of COVID they didn't get to practice together? So
No, I don't think so. I think it's just they're just 5 individuals. They're highly, highly talented. I just don't think they've found their stride yet as far as playing together as a team. I mean, they've done well. I mean, I think they're 13-6. They've done okay, better than average.
Right.
But I don't think their record is as good as their talent level dictates. And one of the players, Darius Days, is out, and so that's. But you don't win championships in December, January, and February. You win them in March. So if the teams have made runs, and so we'll see. But they're not. Right now, they got some business to take care of. They have to win at least 3 out of 4. The next 4 games to stay in the hunt.
Gotcha.
And also, too, I love LSU baseball.
I know.
And they start next week. They actually open up against the Air Force. It's Friday night.
Are they having? Can you go watch it?
25% capacity now, which during the games that are pre-SEC, that's not now. Opening day they usually pack.
Right.
They'll have a sellout. But for pre-SEC games, you probably get 3,000 or 4,000 people there. So it's not going to be that much of a difference. So you have 25% capacity there, and we'll see what happens. Maybe hopefully by the end of the spring they'll be 100, or by the SEC.
Did we hear anything about Belmont?
Belmont.
I mean Belhaven.
Belhaven.
Yeah, they
I
started.
hadn't looked it up.
Yeah.
That's your nephew.
That's my nephew.
They were playing in freezing cold weather.
They're supposed to be 26 degrees.
Baseball is not a cold weather.
I know.
So LSU opens up against Air Force Friday night, Notre Dame, Fighting Irish, which, you know, I always talk about, the people talk about the Redskins and all, being offended.
Right.
Most of the people who are offended by the Redskins logo aren't Indian.
Right.
They're not Native American.
Right.
Sorry, millennials. And so, we get text. I do have a thing in history for millennials today. I'm gonna go into it in a second.
Okay.
But you see, you got Notre Dame. You have all these, I guess, virtuous people who like the virtuous signal by saying that mascot is offensive to me, even though that mascot has nothing to do with me. That's virtue.
Okay.
When you get offended about something that has nothing to do with you, and the person who is about doesn't care,
right.
That's increased virtue. So they play Notre Dame and play Tech. But you have the Notre Dame. Now, really, if you talk about the night Notre Dame, you got he's like a little Irishman, almost like a little leprechaun, walking out of an Irish Channel bar, or what would be an Irish drunk, ready to fight. Right. Now, I don't know any Irish who are offended by this. Are you offended by it? No. Any Irish out there offended by it?
I'm not a guy, but I'm not.
I mean, so, but a lot of, I mean, that's, how much worse? You drunk coming out of a bar and you want to fight?
But that'll be
Irish,
and it plays on.
But that plays on, the stereotypes of Irish. They like to drink, which I don't know. Who knows? And then, oh yes, that's what I was going to say for the millennials. Okay, millennials, get out your safe space, put down your avocado, okay, and listen to this.
You're gonna get that.
Millennials don't listen to us. We're just, our demographic's a little higher. But in case there is, well, there's some law students doing it. So law schools, put down the avocado.
I think Katie's listening.
Yeah, she might be. And it says we had in 1949, John Polk, he is the U.S. president, he took the first presidential selfie.
Really?
It was the first president ever to be photographed. John Polk, 1949.
Not necessarily selfie.
Yeah, what he did was he took the four legs to the camera and held it up about 4 feet up, and then he took a picture. So it was the first presidential selfie. So the millennials in the Generation X, that's your president, John Polk. So he took your first selfie. So anyway, who else are we?
Who else can offend?
But anyway, so LSU baseball and Pelicans are
they're kind of hot and cold.
They're hot and cold. They can lose to everybody.
I know.
Anybody, and they beat everybody. They're like, it's like Godfather 3. They keep pulling me back in. You know, I get frustrated with them, and then they start going on a 4-game winning streak. I get back into it. I say, man, they got it together, and then they lose 2 more. So they play the Pistons tonight, and just to cover the sports gamut, LSU starting with their new coaches, Durante Jones and Peets. Now, here's what Coach O did is different. Now, I'll say this. I mean this in a very good way. That's why he's a great coach. He's cold-blooded in the sense of his hirings.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like he has any...
Like, if you win a national championship in 19, that does nothing for you in 20. Does nothing.
I mean, you want some loyalty, but he's not willing to sacrifice his team for the purposes of somebody liking him.
But the other thing he did is he sort of went away from the traditional hiring of a defensive coordinator. Getting someone who's recycled, who's been there and done that, or an ex-head coach who just was fired, or the next hot defensive coordinator like Marcus Freeman was with Cincinnati. He pulled out a guy who was Durante Jones, just hungry, just real hungry, and but it came up the hard way. Yeah. He maybe 15 coaching jobs over 20 years. One of them was Nicholls State, a couple high schools in Louisiana.
So where did he come from just now?
Vikings. He was a secondary coach, but he came up the hard way, and I think one of the things that was interesting about LSU this year is when Coach Pelini won national championship with Coach Miles. College football was different. You had a situation where once a player signed with a team, it was it. You had them.
Right.
And they couldn't go elsewhere, or they could, but they had to sit out 1 or 2 years. And so it was my way or the highway. And that's the way they coach. Now, in 2021, it's different because the, the, the players have to be recruited all the time. They have to be recruited to come to LSU. They have to be recruited to stay out the transfer portal. And they have to be recruited not to go to the NFL. So in the NFL, when you coach, it's not the my way or the highway because they've got free agency and they have choices. So it's more of a collaborative type of situation where they sort of have input with the players and sort of have more of a collaborative relationship rather than, my way or the highway. And Bo Pelini came from the my way, highway kind of coaching. And the player's going to fit my system. Whereas Durante Jones is players first, and then I'm going to figure out a system to maximize the players' abilities, which is more collaborative. Also, because players want to play in a system where they can emphasize their skill set.
Sure.
So it's a little different, and I think Coach O recognized that. And he's very good about recognizing change. He does not. He holds himself very highly accountable. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. But you never know. I mean,
I think hungry's good. We know when we hire people, if they're hungry and they really want to go after it, they'll work hard. They'll do what you
want. And if you give them an opportunity that they wasn't expecting, they want to prove you right. So that's a wrap. But we'll talk about Medicaid and Medicare and Medicaid planning for long-term care. A lot of people ask us questions about that, and we get a lot of calls on that. And so we'll talk a little bit about that, and we're going to take a break.
Perfect.
Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
These things gross me out. Girl, I told a girl I'll have it on. Ooh, now Polly's getting letters from collection agencies.
Food?
From? Collection agencies on East Jefferson, General Hospital.
All right, got that.
It looks like it's moving in the wrong direction.
Tell me who's satisfied. I mean, we paid it. Tell them to send it to me. I'll resend them. Tell them don't worry about it.
Yeah, but it's going to affect it. They probably just sold it, but it's going to affect their credit.
Well, they shouldn't, but.
Sometime to take care of it.
Yeah, tell them we'll take care of it.
There you go. North Dakota just got in common sense.
Who's that?
North Dakota Past
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sports
she's good.
girl. She is good.
She might be a future. They'll go after her more vicious than anybody because
Mhm.
she's the worst. She's the worst. A nightmare.
Does learning a language feel like this? No habla español? It's hablo? It's hablo. Bom dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say je m'appelle either, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely a way to do that. The app is so smooth and so practical, it helps you learn things you will actually use. So my husband is from Guatemala. I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel for a real life situation. I've tried other learning apps, and this is my step. Babbel's gonna help you.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno. Esto conforme el no comer café de mañana.
Je suis des États-Unis et do you too?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
It's WWL and all things legal with Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri. Join us on the WWL Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer Sunseri, all things legal on WWL AM-FM.com, broadcasting from Destin, following the Orleans Parish COVID orders to stay away and spend your money elsewhere. So we're good citizens.
I think they're even having like a little Mardi Gras thing
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna go. If it's not raining, we might go. Huh?
Mhm. Yeah, let's see what's going on.
Yeah, I'll see. Look, they have a Mardi Gras parade.
Yeah.
So we'll see. They'll have them somewhere.
I'm sure.
And
Are they having them in Madrid? Did they cancel?
I don't think so. I think I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what's the deal. But they are having some. And I think they're having Jackie Gleason as the king. Remember when Jackie Gleason was the king of podcasts? They had some great kings. Glenn Campbell. Yeah. You like that?
I did.
Yeah.
As a kid.
You know, Glenn Campbell was a Beach Boy.
I know, you know what I mean? Really like country music. I don't know why.
Well, he was part of the Wrecking Crew, who used to play in albums at Capitol Records with like Frank Sinatra, Ronnie Spector, and Motown. Like not to say Motown, but some of the Capitol artists who they were the house band.
Mm.
And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, Brian Wilson, who was the lead singer, had like a breakdown, and they had Glenn Campbell come in and substitute for him. And I think his first concert was as a Beach Boy was in New Orleans, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1965. And then he decided to become Glenn Campbell. So they had that.
Continue to become like
Glenn Campbell. And they had Ed McMahon was one year. They wanted to get Johnny Carson. I would have loved it.
There were so many people.
Yeah, they had some great kings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my frame of reference goes back to the old guys, because I think when you're younger, it makes a bigger impression on you. Yeah. Do they still have the gorilla float? And
It's so many years
I know.
ago.
Danny Kaye was a king. Bob Hope was a king. My goodness, Bob Hope.
Was Frank?
No, Frank Sinatra wasn't. But I'm an old soul.
I know you are.
I love all that. I love all Dean Martin, Bob Hope, Frank Sinatra.
You were born.
I should have been born during World War II. But as you know, when I want to clear out a couple of years ago when we had 4 kids in the house. If I wanted to clear the kids out, I just put on my Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin music in the room, in the room would clear up. So that was it. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Mike. He's got a question. I don't think he wants to talk about Dean Martin or Frank Sinatra. He's got a legal question. Hey, you know all things legal. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers, Sunseri.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Two questions. I'm purchasing a home and it has an in-ground swimming pool. We've already, the axial has not happened. In fact, final inspection will be this week. However, with this hard freeze coming, I was wondering that if the pool and pool equipment sustained any kind of major damage from the freeze, if I could easily get out of this deal rather than going through the problem of having to wait for them to fix it at all.
Well, it depends on the contract, purchase contract. But I would say that they would probably, and this is my impression without looking at the contract, they would have the ability to attempt to address it before the closing date. Now, if it was something that was not repairable in the short term, and it was, then possibly, but basically you'd have to see if there's any damage and what was the nature and extent of damages. But
What I was worried about is something that we can't see, even like pipe in the wall that you couldn't see right away type of deal. With the final inspection, but showing up at a later time, same thing with the pool, something that I couldn't see that might show up in a month or so.
well, I can't.
Well, if it's
You can't get out of a sale based on speculation of future damages. Okay, you can't. You're going to have to identify those damages and possibly renegotiate or come to some type of arrangement to address it. But no, it would not be a basis, factual basis or a legal basis to say, okay, we're not going to do this purchase agreement because of the possibility of future damages due to a weather event that, but the damages haven't been identified.
Right.
So,
Okay? Next question, right? If that's the case, that's not a problem. But if, say, in 2 weeks, I discovered something that was busted from the freeze, do I have any repercussions after the act of sale goes through?
well, it depends on well, first of all, at the act of sale, you're probably going to be signing an as is, where is clause.
Right.
So what I would do is maybe you can negotiate a warranty on the pool.
Okay.
That would be my advice, because if when you go to active sale, you're going to sign a warranty saying I'm accepting the house as it is. The only, I guess, caveat to that is in the property disclosures, if the homeowner says something deliberately false, then that as is where is clause may not apply. But for the most part, you're going to accept the pool in its present condition. So I think what I would do after the freeze is get the best pool guy out there and have them.
have them inspected.
Okay, all right, okay.
All right, thanks for the call.
Things, well, I'll just say, we've had pools, we've had freezes. When you bust a pipe, we've never busted a pipe in the freeze. In our house now, we busted a pipe in the pool bath with the freeze when we were renovating. Right away.
Yeah. You saw
Something
it.
that comes 2 weeks later.
Yes.
And your pool pipes are all underground.
And this is non-official
This is not
Pool-
official stuff, but just.
pool analysis.
Right.
I'm not certified, but you would start losing water. It would probably manifest pretty quickly. But if we have any pool people who want
I'm happy to.
and if you call in and you give us a good answer, we'll give you Albert's address to send the bill for all things legal. Because we feel, we send out bills.
Yeah.
So if anybody gives us input that's very helpful, we should return the favor. And Albert would be glad to pay the bill. I will give you his home address. I'll give you his cell phone number. I'll give you his email, and I'll give you everything else to make sure. And if you need a lawyer to help collect it, I will work pro bono. So there you go. We want to talk a little bit about, let's see, we're at 8:37. We'll open it up. But a lot of people have called us because a lot of our audience in the 50s, 60s, and up, and they have parents who are in a situation where they need long-term care. Mm-hmm. Medical science is good because people live long. Right. And then we have the baby boomers who are now coming to age, because, you know, people came back from war, and a lot of brave soldiers who get, you know, who are why we are here today in freedom, came back, and had a lot of children when they came back. It was lonely in France and everywhere else. So they came back and started having a lot of children that come to age.
Right.
And so, but one of the things as we age, you know, a lot of times we have very unique problems with the baby boomers aging, is that, you know, long-term care, even though physically we're able to live to 80s, 90s, sometimes cognitively that maybe diminishes over those ages, and they need help and need care. And there's, you know, a lot of people call us and say, you know, my mother or my grandmother or my aunt, you know, they have dementia. They're going to need long-term care. We have some assets, and we want to become Medicaid eligible. What is the criteria for that?
Right.
And what we're going to do on the other side of the break is just talk about, so, you know, what the rules are for long-term care for Medicaid, and, you know, what's the eligibility. There's certain things that you can do right away to become eligible, even if you own a house that's paid off, or if you have a house with a mortgage. There's a lot of things you can do as far as just moving your assets in a legitimate manner or as a spend down in order to have eligibility. Because the thought process is this: you know, I would, if I could become Medicaid eligible sooner than later, I'd like to know how to do it. And a lot of times at the same time, it helps us preserve your estate, just in a different way. So let's go to a break, and we'll go into the specifics of Medicaid planning, and and I'm going to give real life examples that we have, and try to break it down as best we can in a way that we make it complex and understandable.
There you go.
And maybe I think it'll be able to help some of our listeners in that situation. Okay, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
This year, we've seen a whirlwind change in unfortunately new strains of coronavirus. This is normal.
Okay, we have one caller here, TJ from Sunseri, and information about full warranty.
COVID-19 and available vaccines, how to get financial help for your business or family, how to have honest conversations about challenges in our community and country. Join me, let's keep it real, weekdays 10 to 1 on WWL.
It all starts with just one thing. For Valentine's this year, get your significant other a living flower or other potted plant instead of cut roses that quickly wilt and get thrown out. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Starting with your DIY do-it-yourself online with your problem.
Hi, my house could really use a paint job.
When did you last paint?
It seems like I have to paint every couple of years. I'm really tired of that.
Well, I can text you
And then
our
you can
latest
change
do-it-yourself
when you
test
want
your house
to
paint
send
here.
the
You're gonna need ladders, street scrapers, drop cloths, different
Oh,
types.
wow.
That's the thing. I don't want to do it myself.
He doesn't want to do it himself. Sir, this is the do-it-yourself hotline.
Sorry, I was trying to reach the don't do it yourself hotline.
Please hold the Rhino Shield.
If you've had it with painting, don't do it yourself. Get it one and done with Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is an elastomeric coating that's thicker than paint. Resists fading, comes in your favorite color, and is guaranteed for up to 25 years. The Rhino Shield team does it all, from prep to cleanup. Call now to schedule your free estimate. 504-407-2222. First 10 callers get 10% off. Call Rhino Shield Mid-South now. 504-407-2222. Or visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. If you or a loved one are suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metier.
I feel personally, when I walk around on the grounds, that is sacred ground. It's healing. Just the environment is healing. Just being here makes one feel like that, oh, I can let go. I can let go of the worry. I can let go of the stress that I've been carrying around for a long time. We don't shame anybody. We don't blame anybody. We don't judge anyone. Just that alone really is the foundation on which everything else that we do is done.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
If you're feeling increasingly lonely right now, you're not alone. It's totally normal. Even though you may not be able to get together in person, connecting virtually with friends and family still gives you a chance to interact with people and may help raise your spirits. Join a virtual book club, set up group text chats, or online video coffee breaks with coworkers.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org. Doing your best work from home is not easy when you don't have the right space. California Closets will help you create a custom solution that works for you, your family, and your life. Whether it's a small space, shared space, multifunctional space, or kid space, our professional design consultants will help you get organized and make your space one that works better for you. Now you can love where you live and work. Schedule your free in-home or virtual design consultation today at CaliforniaClosets.com.
Let NOLA Protection improve the security of your business by keeping your product, customers, and employees safe. NOLA Protection is the local choice for security personnel and equipment. Give them a call at 504-577-2323 or on the web
Think he's gonna run again?
NOLAProtection.com.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the
I
time,
think it's gonna
daily
be a long
diarrhea.
process.
At
I don't know
first,
if it's-
I thought it was
4
lips.
years is a
I
lifetime.
kept thinking it was stomach issues.
4 years
So I
is a
did my
lifetime.
research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI, exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss,
I
and
think
body
he's gonna do
stools.
something
And
to be
EPI
very
symptoms can
disruptive.
be confused with those of other
Be a
common
big
digestive
influence.
conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I
getting to
can
the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor
Galvanize.
about the severity of my symptoms and how
go
often they were
galvanize.
happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom
That's what
checker
it is.
at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor
You might be able to
to
do
ask,
more effective
"Can
than
I have EPI?"
Sponsored by AbbVie.
NBA veteran JJ Redick. More than 14 years in the league. Now on the Old Men and the Three Podcast, Redick and co-host Tommy Alter bring listeners a behind-the-scenes look inside the NBA and beyond. Listen free on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your show. Back to WWL and all things legal with attorneys Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Connect on the WWL Talk and Text Line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Dummer, Sunseri, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to TJ. He's got a question regarding home warranties. This is a weather-related question.
I think so.
Hey, DJ, what'd you have for us, brother?
Yes, good morning. I was calling actually, and we were back in on your last caller. I actually just purchased the property a couple of months ago, and it was a renovated property, here in Metairie, renovated property. And I discovered that there was a leak from the shower, and my question is, can I hold the seller responsible for that leak, or the contractor, or
Well, how long after the purchase did you discover the leak? 2 weeks? About a month? So it wasn't a new construction, right?
It was renovated.
Renovated, okay, renovated, okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, T-
Yeah, TJ, if you could turn down your radio and
Yeah, we can't hear
get
you.
feedback, but yes, basically what happens is that a leak, that would be, it depends, again, it depends on what the leak is.
I think he said it was a renovated property and the last contractor to be on the property was a couple of years.
Yeah, it was in a shower.
I would say that that's probably gonna be a tough one. Because first of all, did y'all sign an as is where is clause when you purchase property? Well, you're gonna have to check that, because if you did sign an as is where is clause and there's no property disclosure, disclosing otherwise, you're probably out of luck. I would say it's 99% chance that if you sold a renovated property, it would have been done without warranty. So, probably, I would say you would have an uphill climb on that. Is this a warranty, you talking about a warranty that you purchased or a warranty on the property?
No, just the one, on the property.
Yeah, okay, so, no, from the former seller, from the seller. No, I don't think, I'm 99% sure that the property was sold without warranty, as is where it is. The only way that you could get otherwise is if they had a property disclosure that said that wasn't occurring, and you could prove that he knew it was occurring and lied about it. But anything short, which is hard to do, so anything short of that, you would have a hard time. The only time I put a property disclosure that, they might, you buy as is where it is, and then it might say something like, we had no termites, and then they paint over a bunch of areas that indicated that there was, that had termites there. Then, a situation like that, you might be able to get some traction, but otherwise, I think it would be difficult.
Okay.
All right, TJ, my man, thanks for the call. All right, couple of weather, I think,
Yeah, I
questions.
think people get concerned, and rightfully so. We're just not used to that. We're not used to
No, we're not used to this cold weather. That's why we live in New Orleans.
That's right.
We want to talk a little bit about long-term Medicaid.
I would love to.
And there's a certain criteria for Medicaid. There's countable assets and non-countable assets. I wish I had a chalkboard here, which I do. I think I'm all the chalkboard off. Not a chalkboard, I call it a whiteboard. But I'm going back to this, Miss Monroe's class in second grade at St. Angela. And basically you have eligibility is based on having less than $2,000 of countable assets. In the simple way to say it is countable assets are money, anything that's liquid. Also would be the cash value in a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
Your 401k.
IRAs, annuities.
Absolutely. So if you have more than $2,000, you're not eligible. But here's something interesting. What's not eligible?
What is not eligible?
What is not a countable asset?
Oh, your house. Your house.
Yeah, the equity in the house.
House, equity, house is not countable asset.
What's another? It's got 4 wheels.
Your car.
And your also your personal items like heirlooms.
Yeah, because they're not cash.
Right.
You heard of me.
And also a burial policy, $10,000, but it's got to be an irrevocable trust. You can't, like, once you put that money down, you can't get it back. Now, here's the quiz. Here, you can take a quiz.
I'm gonna take a quiz.
Take the
Okay.
quiz. All right. If someone has $3,000 in cash, you ain't got no home, as Frogman used to say. Are you eligible for Medicaid, long-term care? Why is that?
Because you're 1,000 over.
1,000 over where?
Over accountable asset, you only have $2,000.
So if you had $3,000 and
And you live on the streets.
or you rent. Then you're not eligible.
Correct.
Let's take this. If someone has a $500,000 home that is paid off, but has less than $2,000 of liquid assets.
They are eligible.
Now, but you have an asset that's worth $500,000.
You do, but it's not cash.
It's not cash.
And if you sell it, which some people do.
Oh, and that's where we're getting at. And so, the strategy would be for Medicaid planning is to what?
Is to get below the $2,000 and you will be eligible.
And in some cases, you could have countable assets that can be utilized and moved to an uncountable asset in order to become eligible. Okay, let me give you an example. Someone has a $200,000 home and a $100,000 mortgage.
Right.
Okay, so and someone has $100,000 cash.
Right.
So let me go back.
Right.
This is a quiz.
Okay.
I'm grading you here.
Okay.
And so if a person has a $200,000 home and has a mortgage for $100,000, and then they have $100,000 cash, are they Medicaid eligible there?
No.
Why not?
Because they have too much cash.
Okay, specifically.
They have, you can only have 200, so they're $98,000. 2,000, they're $98,000 over.
And let's see, I went to De La Salle. I had Mr. Hanlon and Mr. Simon, so 100,000 minus 98,000. 2,000 equals 98,000, so
Right.
98,000 over.
Just what I said.
Huh?
Just what I said.
I know, you went to Dominican, so I know your math is right. I went to Del Sal, I have to double check. And then, but how can you become, okay, you know what, we're gonna, a cliffhanger.
We are gonna do something.
Because I hear the music, and we're gonna tell you how you become Medicaid eligible in that scenario. Instantly.
Instantly.
Where someone in that situation would be instantly eligible for Medicaid. So let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Hi, I'm Rick Elman, and I have a feeling
How long do we have?
retirement is on your mind. You're wondering if you've saved enough, or whether your money is in the right places. You're wondering when will you be able to retire, or will you be able to stay retired? And is your money sufficient so you can live in comfort and financial security for the rest of your life? You're wondering all this, but you really don't have to just wonder. You can resolve all these questions in your effort to enjoy a retirement that's everything you want it to be. And we can help. At Edelman Financial Engines, our clients are predominantly concerned about retirement, your financial security for your spouse, for your aging parents, for your children. And we can help you just like we've helped thousands of folks just like you for more than 30 years. So call us at Edelman Financial Engines at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us.
Okay, you're gonna have 4 minutes to,
Finish up. Yeah, okay, great.
Don't wonder
Thanks.
about your retirement because we're here to help. That's 888-PLAN-RIC.
Every day feeling like Groundhog Day? Then drive on down to Take 5, the stay in your car 10-minute oil change. Here you can break routine without ever leaving your car. Plus, we definitely don't have any groundhogs in our pit. Just Greg. All set. Greg, that was fast. Got a groundhog down there helping you out or something?
Funny. See you next time. Phew, that was a close call. I'm starting to think you're a little too fast, Groundhog.
Visit G5offer.com to get 25% off any oil change. Take 5, the stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
At Mike Brenner Injury Attorneys, we know that car wrecks don't take the weekends off, and neither do we. If you've been hurt or wrecked over the weekend, don't wait until Monday to get the help you need right now. We have people standing by, ready to take your call, ready to give you free advice, and ready to help you get the medical attention you need. You don't have to wait till Monday to call an attorney. In a wreck, need a check? Call me, Mike Brenner. We're the 24/7 injury attorneys, and we're available to get you the help you need right now.
Brandon Holly here, siding, window, even doors. ReliefWindows.com. Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
Hey, it's Rick from upstairs. Yeah, seriously, when I play R&B
Yeah,
at 1 in the
and
morning,
Paul
that's
is
me
the,
saying, hey, I'm here
we
for you.
had
And I
to
do it.
check.
I
Oh, you saw a lot of
use
that.
fire batteries in my smoke detectors. Nice.
You right
Yeah,
there.
upstairs neighbors help people forget their troubles.
Yeah.
Someone else to
Paul
focus on.
wrote, I wrote
Let's see
the
how I can jump.
Progressive can't save you from
Any
your upstairs
objection?
neighbor.
Yeah, I
These
wrote
are-
the bill.
We can't save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Mutual Insurance Company affiliates and auto insurers by discount medical and all states or
It
situations.
is hell bundle. They give it a shot, but
Where do we really want to live?
Well, you can handle less questions.
I know, but can you go in your credit?
Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest. With the options you want with an advisor.
I mean, they can put a report on there. You would just have
Visit
to do is,
marylandbank.com/investment goals and start it today.
send a little letter and just be. Yeah, they can do it.
Now, for all things legal, paid for by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal in the big 870, WWL, AM, FM, and .com. Okay, we had a scenario on Medicaid planning.
Right.
To become instantly eligible.
Right.
You had a home, person had a home, $200,000.
Right.
Had a $100,000 mortgage.
Mhm.
And $100,000 cash. How can you become eligible in just like 1 second?
You can become eligible by taking that 98,000 and paying down the mortgage.
And so what does that do?
So that makes your accountable asset at $2,000 and reduces your rate.
And so let's make a scorecard. After you make that change, what does your house look like?
Well, you have more equity in the house. You have $198,000 of equity.
And how much cash you have,
2,000.
and then you become eligible. Okay, now,
Did I pass?
you passed, you got an A on that one. You know,
Don't get tested.
you get, yeah, and you're Dominican, alumni, we're glad as being.
There you go.
I was saying that, you know, you used to be the most famous tourist from the Dominican. Now you're 1A with the Supreme Court Justice.
I think there's some
Amy
other ones
Coney.
who might do that.
In my brain.
In our home.
In our home. All right, now let's do this. What can be done in case, let's say someone has like $200,000 but doesn't have a mortgage, but is maybe needing some work
Right.
and you have some cash. Let's say you got like $30,000 in cash. What could you do there?
You can update your plumbing, you can do repairs, you can get a new roof. If you need a stair lift, you can do that. If you need a wheelchair ramp, you can do that.
So one of the things you can do is if you have a house that's paid off and you need to spend down the money in order to become Medicaid eligible, you can do basically repairs to your home. And also too, part of those repairs are even making modifications for that person for your wheelchair or.
One big
ramps.
thing is a bathroom, making the bathroom more wheelchair accessible. That's a big thing.
And so that would be another way. And also too, even though you're using cash, it's in essence an investment in the house. So you're preserving your estate.
Right.
Now, what is some other, if okay, let's say a person wants to become Medicaid eligible, and they have some cash and a couple of, what would be one other technique they can use to spend down that's legitimate?
You can do a service contract with a family member who might be taking, let's say you have a daughter or a niece or somebody who's taking care of you. You can do a contract for care with them, you pay them for their services rendered. That's a way.
That'd be another, and also you could do, you could pay off some debt too also. All right.
Some medical supplies too.
That's right. And so we're about 1 hour, 1 hour's in the can.
Wow.
Yeah, so that went quite quick. So we're gonna be here till 10 o'clock. Live. You're looking live at Destin and Destin, All Things Legal. And so we'll be back for hour number 2 in All Things Legal. So just stay tuned. We're gonna go to national news, local news. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So stay tuned for hour number 2 in All Things Legal.
WWL or Intercom Louisiana LLC. Assessing a person's legal matter often requires extensive interviews, review of contracts and documents, and research of the current state of the law and the issues involved. As a result, the information provided
It's amazing you can do a show like
All
that.
Things Legal is used for informational purposes only.
I guess people are not, I always make some notes.
For other professional advice, communications with attorneys on this
Yeah.
or not create an attorney-client relationship. All of the biggest things in LSU Fighting Tiger sports. 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner, New Orleans. On radio.com sports station.
I'm Wendy Gillette. Former President Trump is running for office again after he was acquitted in his second impeachment trial. Prosecutor Jimmy Raskin delivered part of the closing argument.
The President of the United States summoned this mob, assembled this mob, and lit the flame of this attack. Everything that followed was his doing.
Yeah, follow Isabel Robinson on Instagram.
Without the president.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell voted not guilty, but then delivered a scathing speech on the Senate floor.
Mother God.
Ordinary citizen.
CBS News election law expert David Becker.
Even those who voted to acquit are holding former President Trump responsible for what he said, what he did, how he provoked the mob, and then kind of grasping on some technicalities about whether or not impeachment was the right form, and almost suggesting criminal investigations and civil litigation could and should proceed.
Bitterly cold temperatures are descending on much of the U.S. More than 100 million Americans are under winter-related watches and warnings. And there's another threat to CBS meteorologist Jeff Baradelli.
In the form of ice. It's right along the Gulf Coast. Lake Charles, Louisiana, continues to Jackson, Mississippi, and into Tennessee. That will have Saturday night and Monday night
Asian Americans are increasing. CBS's Nancy Chen.
Yang is the president of Asian Americans Against in part anti-Asian rhetoric surrounding the pandemic.
The Asian American community has been faced with a true pandemic. The second pandemic that we have faced is also a virus. It's a virus of racism.
In New York City, there was an 867% increase in Asian hate crime victims in 2020 compared to the year before.
Police Mateo on cases coming to the postal service. First-class mail could take a bit longer to arrive and cost you more to send. The Washington Post is reporting Postmaster General Louis DeJoy plans to lump all first-class mail into a single delivery category, which will be sent in the 3 to 5 day range. The paper says that DeJoy has outlined eliminating a type of 2-day delivery first-class mail, and that a push to increase postal rates is also in the works.
CBS News Radio is your home for breaking news. With our team of reporters around the country and the world, we give you the coverage you can trust. Have you heard? A secret hoard of 1888 Morgan silver dollars has been found. These gorgeous 1888 gold Morgans are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck. And less than 500 of these coins are available. Coin experts are calling the Great Southern Treasury Hoard an incredible opportunity. Just call GovMint at 1-800-719-9079, and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1888 Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic gold mark of the New Orleans Mint. These 132-year-old coins were found in sealed bags that have been untouched since 1888. That makes these unopened bags of Morgan silver dollars extremely rare. To learn more, call 1-800-719-9079. Call now, and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $10 value, free with any order. Call 1-800-719-9079 now to secure your 1888 old Morgan silver dollar coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-719-9079. WWL First News.com. Early on your local weather station, WWL-AM-10am.com.
Cold and windy Sunday, highs in the 40s will feel like the 30s and low 40s. Cloudy skies. Tonight we start to watch a few showers build in by Monday. Overcast, rain, watching the potential for ice and sleet, especially by late morning and through the afternoon and evening.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Malone. Louisiana's Republican Party censuring GOP Senator Bill Cassidy for voting to convict former President Donald Trump in his impeachment trial. Cassidy joined 6 other Republicans and all 50 Democrats in voting to convict Trump on Saturday for his role in the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol. Cassidy said the former president was guilty. Shortly after the Senate's vote, the Republican Party in Louisiana said in a statement that its executive committee unanimously voted to censure Cassidy. A censure is a largely symbolic expression of disapproval. Meanwhile, in reaction from Senator John Kennedy, we take to WWL TV's Devin Bartlama.
Senator John Kennedy voted not guilty. He released a statement saying in part, quote, "In my judgment, impeachment is not supposed to be a political sport where one party seeks advantage over the other at the expense of the country." He added, "The merits of the Democrats' case were not even close."
A fatal shooting in Gretna last night has left one person dead and another seriously injured. At around 7:45, the evening deputies were dispatched to 900 block East Monterey Court in reference to a shooting. Deputies found victims outside of a residence suffering from gunshot.
You know you're on the camera.
Earlier in New Orleans, a triple shooting left one person dead and 2 injured. We get that story from WWL TV's Paul Dudley.
The New Orleans Police Department reported a triple shooting in Central City that killed one person and hurt 2 others. It happened just after 5 p.m. near Washington and Loyola. The NOPD has not named the suspect. If you know anything about shootings, you're encouraged to call Crime Stoppers.
In WWL Sports, LSU scored a signature victory for their NCAA tournament resume yesterday, upsetting the 16th ranked team in the country. Cam Thomas led the way on the scoreboard for the Tigers as they knocked off Tennessee.
Walker comes the other way, Trendon in traffic, nearly lost it, now trying to secure the ball, gets it out to Hyatt. Back to Trendon, Trendon down the right lane, pass to Thomas, 3 ball, good! He got ball, no whistle, but he'll take the triple.
78-65 was the final. LSU now lives at 84 in the SEC, tied with Arkansas for second place in the conference. Bayou Bengals get the full week off. They're back.
All right, we have one gentleman holding. His name is Leon from Macomb, and he is a Medicare Medicaid question.
Tonight in the Motor City, Pels face off with the Detroit Pistons at 6 o'clock. I'm Mark Menard, WWL Sports. Now the full forecast from your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist, Pete Malone.
Chilly Sunday with a bit of a breeze, but no freezing temperatures this afternoon. Will be cloudy as well, and you do need to get into your cold weather preps today. Monday morning, waking up, could see below freezing temperatures, especially north of the lake. That's as rain moves in. Here on the South Shore, will be in the mid-30s. Chance for ice and sleet has really gone up on the North Shore and up along the river, and even closer to the bayou parishes. That's where we're likely to experience the worst impacts with regards to travel problems and possibly even power outages on the North Shore. As we go into Monday afternoon, that's when we could start to see maybe a transition to some freezing rain in New Orleans. The chance of that is less likely, but it is a possibility and something to watch by Monday afternoon. Temperatures plummet 3 to 5 degrees by Monday night. Tuesday morning, a hard and high bursting freeze likely for all areas. That doesn't mean you need to protect your exposed pipes, and you need to let your faucets drip Monday night. And Tuesday, Mardi Gras, not going to be nice at all. We will see some sunshine come out, but highs in the upper 30s, and we're finally back to around 60 on Wednesday. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Dave Malone.
And I'm Tom Peruvian, WWL First News. The following is a paid program. The views and advice expressed are not that of WWL or Intercom Louisiana LLC. Assessing a person's legal matter often requires extensive interviews, review of contracts and documents, and research of the current state of the law and the issues involved. As a result, the information provided by the attorneys and guests of All Things Legal is given for informational purposes only. It is not to be construed as legal, tax, investment, or other professional advice. Communications with the attorneys on this program, whether verbal or digital, do not create an attorney-client relationship. From WWL, the news talk and sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Paid for by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. Call or text 504-260-1870 or join us anytime, anywhere on the radio.com app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. And if you can check us out on our Facebook page and watch the podcast in addition to radio.com. Well, it's not, the big 870.
Big 870.
If we're in Destin, so if you're looking on the Facebook, as Brent Musburger used to say, you're looking live in Destin. So we're just being good citizens of New Orleans, and staying away and spending money elsewhere. Spending our Mardi Gras money elsewhere. So, if we're going to have a COVID closed Mardi Gras, weather-wise, this is the year to do it.
It is, because it sounds like it's going to be terrible.
It's going to be terrible, yes.
It's raining here and it's chilly, but it's not what it is back home.
I remember when I was 5 years old, I was riding in the Crew Elks with the Merry Maskers, the truck parade. I was 5 years old, 1967. So for you Dominican girls, y'all can probably do the math. Us Del Sal guys can even do the math. So that's it. And I remember we got on, we stopped at McKenzie's and got what do we call it, those long rolls? It's like the cinnamon rolls that are long.
They cruel.
I don't remember what they were. Oh, that's something good. So we got then we got on the truck. And the next thing I remember, I couldn't feel my feet. It was so cold. That was 1967.
You don't like cold.
No, I'm warm weather anyway. So if there's a year that we don't have, I guess this is the year not to have it.
Yep.
All right, we've been talking about Medicaid, planning, long-term care, and we got Leon, my man, who is on the line. He's got a question. Hey, Leon, you and All Things Legal. How can you?
Thank you. Appreciate you taking my call.
Sure.
I got Medicaid and Medicare.
All right.
Okay, and I'm retired. Okay, but I went back to work. So, am I still eligible for both of my Medicaid and Medicare, or do I lose my Medicare?
Well, you're over 65?
Yeah.
Okay.
68.
All right. Well, your Medicaid is not going anywhere. Your Medicare is if you have less than $2,000 average in money in your account, you'll maintain your eligibility for Medicare. So, but if you have liquid assets over $2,000, you could possibly not be eligible. So it's just based on how much money you're making and how much money you're retaining and saving.
Right, but most of the money I make is gone by the end of the month.
Then you should be fine. You could still be Medicaid eligible, yes, sir.
I can still be Medicaid, okay, that's great.
Well, now, you see, Medicare, yeah, Medicare is when you get 65, or you can be on Medicare if you're receiving Social Security Disability Income, SSDI, which is based on money you paid in as an employee into the Social Security system when you're disabled. It's not based on means, it's based on what you paid into the system. But since you're over 65, you got Medicaid, and since if money coming in, money coming out, it's less than $2,000, and you're good for Medicaid.
And on my paychecks, they still take out for Medicaid back.
Yes, they.
Right. And one more question. Okay, everybody's got to have, from what I'm being told, a third party, like People's Choice or something like that. Or they get 80% of their bills paid, and you got to pay the other 20%.
Well, yeah, there's it depends. You would have a provider, I guess, and I'm getting a little bit out of my realm, but basically there's supplemental policies that you can buy that would pay the deductibles on Medicaid. That's sort of short version. And if anybody who's in the business wants to give a better explanation, they can call in, and Albert will pay your bill for giving us that good information.
Well, y'all have a happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
I hope y'all have a great little party at home and being safe.
Yeah, Leon.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you too, man. It's good to hear from you, and glad you're doing well. All right, man, Leon. All right, Leon. Leon sounds like a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy. Now, let's go to Debbie. Got a question. Hey, Debbie, you and all things legal.
Thank you. My question is, I'm a single parent with one kid, and I have Medicaid for both her and myself.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I've still got $2,000 left from last year's income tax, and I get that earned income credit. My question would be, my Medicaid comes up for renewal. Will I automatically lose it if I get another $6,000 and I have all that money in my checking account?
Well,
Can you use that to live?
no, if you spend it, just spend it down. If you spend it down, yeah, spend it down.
I spend it down each month.
Then
I
you're
spend it
fine.
down each month, I'm sorry.
Yeah. If you spend it down under 2,000, you're fine. It's not. It won't. Mm-hmm. You go ahead, Debbie.
Okay, I'm scared that, so, let's say my 2,000 goes away from last year, but I get $6,000 from income tax refund before my Medicaid expires, before it renews. So that's gonna show up, because it's gonna ask me how much money I have in the bank, and it's income tax, but it's not earned income. So would that automatically disqualify me for Medicaid, to keep going forward?
Not necessarily. If you take that money and you spend it down, pay off debt, it won't. If you have debt, pay it off. If there are permissible spend downs, you can do it for home repairs. You can do it for if there are ways to spend it down. I tell you what, just give us a call at 504-837-1304, 837-1304. If you have any further questions, but yeah, the concept is just to spend it down, and you get under the $2,000, and there's legitimate ways to do that. It's just a matter of you want to spend it down in a way that benefits you, and that's why it might take more than 30 seconds to give you a stamp back. But all right, Debbie, thanks for the call. All right, well, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL is the home of LSU football and Fighting Tiger sports.
Okay, we have a caller, Austin, calling from Mandeville, and he has a work-related
What's his name?
More an extra mile.
Austin,
Austin.
Medico.
Your anxiety
It's
medicine,
something
everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe you've been porky and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance
said
will only
Medicare
cost you
and
about
Medicaid.
$200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with
It's based on,
Blue
I said
at
Medicaid.
800-555-1509. Big Blue will find a term life policy for you even if you
Medicare
have
is
type 2
65,
diabetes
or if you're on
high blood
SSDI.
pressure. Term Provider has helped
Okay,
thousands of people
I'll
like
correct
you who
this.
think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Blue at 800-555-1509. Blue will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-1509. Big Blue will
That's
answer
why,
your
that's
call
what
and work to
providers.
get you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big
Medicaid
Blue's like
is
you.
need-based.
He's on
Medicare
meds
is
too. Call 800-555-1509.
That's why I say she's just spending time.
800-555-1509.
That's why we see what happens is you get, like, let's say there's some, let's say someone is, like you got a child who's 30 years old. That's already called. It's benefit. It's all done in services. And they inherit the benefits. They're all before they show them.
We usually talk about
Right, well, that's what that can, we don't, people don't call us to say, you want to do Medicaid compliance for them, so they can keep their benefits, because they don't have, it's just something. It's just something they do, well, they do special needs trusts, but
The spirit of the season is still rolling. Happy Mardi Gras from Intercom New Orleans and Fidelity Bank. Here for good.
No matter how you say it, Here for Good means we're local and committed to our uniquely diverse community. Come celebrate the difference a community bank can make. Fidelity Bank since
What's the
1908.
I thought it was like a $2,000 income.
there isn't, there's a certain income. But basically, if you spend,
Payroll is no longer a headache for our customers. Jeff, I've used various payroll providers in the past.
there is an income limit for Medicaid, but if you spend it down to $2,000 a month,
I'm very excited that Patriot Software files my tax forms for me, not just providing the forms like other payroll companies do. As a business owner, managing payroll has been a long time headache that I no longer struggle with thanks to Patriot Software. I definitely rate your company 5 out of 5 stars. Go to patriotsoftware.com to get your payroll pricing for up to 100 employees. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll processing free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
Patriotsoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money. A special announcement from People's Health. If you missed Medicare's annual enrollment deadline, you may have until February 28th to enroll in a $0 Medicare plan with People's Health. Benefits may include $0 primary care doctor visits, $0 tier 1 and 2 prescriptions, $0 eyeglasses and hearing aids, $0 over-the-counter items, a $0 gym membership, and a People's Health
little bit at a
premium
time.
gift bag. That's money back to you.
That's great.
Learn more at peopleshealth.com.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Council.
What do you think about it?
Increasingly
Oh,
right now, you're not alone. Try joining a
I'm
virtual
glad I'm
club
a little
or
bit at a
scheduling an
time.
online coffee break with coworkers to connect. Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
It's WWL and all things legal with Albert Miko and Doug Sunseri. Join us on the WWL Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demmer Sunseri, all things legal. And I have what sometimes is known on radio as Buddy DiLiberto disease or affliction, which means sometimes I interchange my terms, like when he used to call Dante Stallworth, the wide receiver, Dante Stallpepper. So I did the same thing. I was interchanging Medicaid and Medicare
With Leon.
with Leon. Medicare is when you reach 65, or medical benefits you receive when you're on SSDI, Social Security Disability Income, which is based on what you pay into the system as an employee. It's not need-based. Medicaid is based on the criteria of less than $2,000 of liquid assets. So, thank you for correcting.
You're welcome.
That's one of your, and so, okay, let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Austin. He's got a question, from Mandeville. He's got a question regarding work. Hey, Austin, you're on All Things Legal.
Hey, how you doing after Valentine's Day?
You as well.
I have a question. So I refuse to go on alcohol pills. I had yet to report my job, but even though my license is still valid. And my question is that legal or can I sue for that thing?
Okay, you were fired for, no,
You gotta give us some more
I
facts.
got pulled over
Okay,
for
that's fair.
a DUI. I refused to take a blood alcohol test. Having gone 4 years, my license is still valid, but my job fired.
Okay.
well,
Do you drive for the job?
Yes, I do.
okay, first of all, we're at an at-will state in Louisiana as far as employment is concerned. And at-will means that you can be fired for any reason in absence of a written contract for a specified period of time for a non-discriminatory reason, which means you can be fired as long as it's not based on your age, gender, based on national origin, religion, and disability. So if you're, the short version is yes, they can fire you without recourse.
But here's where it gets tricky. So I drive for FedEx, but I drive for their contractor. FedEx fired me, not my contractor, and technically I don't work for FedEx.
They still can do it. It doesn't.
Okay.
I give this extreme example. Okay, you got 5 salesmen, and the top salesman sells 10 times as much as the other salesman. He still can be fired, even though he performs. He does whatever, as long as it's not for a discriminatory reason. It's just for preference. He can be fired. There's no recourse now. As far as suing, now there's a different inquiry as far as unemployment benefits. That's a different inquiry as to whether you'd be entitled to unemployment benefits or not. But as far as recourse legally, no, we're in that real state. So in that fact scenario, you would not.
Only if I go to court on innocent, and I try to go back and still say I have to wait a year.
It doesn't matter. Again, you can be fired for any reason that's non-discriminatory. So a lot of times when I have, a lot of people get fired, they say, well, I was performing my job, I did everything right. And I said, well, did they fire you based on your age, national origin? Did they fire you based on disability? Did they gender? No. Then I said, well, since it may not be morally right, it may not be, the right thing to do, but it's not illegal, and there's no recourse. So that's part of it. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Thanks. All right. Thanks for the call. All right. Let's go to Gregory's got a question. Hey, Greg, you're at All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri.
Hey, Doug. Good morning.
Hey.
I was just calling that you had about Medicaid, Medicare.
Yes.
Stuff. Michelle I
Yeah.
think you hit most of them.
Yeah.
Medicaid is income derived. Medicare, of course, is 65 and so forth. And you can't get there for 2 years of disability too, even if you're under 65.
Right.
But he was talking about a third party, like a people's health.
Right.
Or something like that. They do have what they call their program for
Okay, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that and how we want to get that, or, you know, if you want to expound on it a little bit.
Well, dual eligible is, someone that has Medicaid and Medicare. He or she reached it due to being 65 or, like I said, 2-year disability period. So if you've got Medicaid and he becomes eligible for Medicare, one of those two reasons, he can get a Medicare for any of them. So all the carriers have for the most part. And provide pretty good coverage for it.
All right. Are you in the business, Greg?
I am.
Yeah, you know what we're gonna do? You give a shout out to your phone number, anybody who has a question regarding that. If you wanna give your phone number to your company, you're welcome to do it.
Well, technically, I'm not supposed to, so.
Oh, you're not supposed to?
I appreciate it, but I just wanted to answer it.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you,
well,
we
let's,
appreciate it.
here's what we're gonna do instead, all right? We always have a policy that if somebody helps, shed light on an issue like that, you can send us a bill, and I'm gonna let you send it to Albert, who is off today.
What I could do, Doug, is I could call you because I do know the person.
Okay. Oh, Greg. Okay, I know. There you go, Greg. There you go.
And if you do know anyone that I can help with.
Yes, I will. Okay. I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling. He can't say who he is, but I can give a clue. He was in Bucktown.
Ah.
Did I get you in trouble, Greg? Is that trouble?
No.
You okay? Any more clues?
I'm sorry.
Can I give more clues? I ought to stop right there. The only other clue his dad was a legendary coach at Lakeshore Playground. But that's it. He's getting off the phone. All right, Greg. He's getting off the phone before I get him in trouble. Somebody wrote me today, this week about Bucktown. There's two divisions of Bucktown. There's like Main Street Bucktown and Uptown Bucktown. Do you know that?
Yeah, I think
I didn't know that.
Your mother should be happy because you're at Uptown Bucktown.
We're at Uptown. Well, they had Bucktown, which is like the Main Street, was really between, I guess, like the CBD of Bucktown would be between Aztec and Lake Avenue, West Esplanade, and the left.
All right.
Then you start moving over to the Garden District, which would be, no, I don't say Garden District. You'd say maybe from, I guess, Aztec to Bonneville, West Esplanade to Levy would be I don't know.
Like a mid-city portion?
Mid-city portion of Bucktown. And then from Bonneville to Causeway would be like, they said Uptown Bucktown.
So that's who you were in Uptown Bucktown.
Yeah, but my heart was back in the CBD, CBD of Bucktown, which encompassed all Lakeshore. Now, the St. Angela people went to Uptown Bucktown. And
I don't really understand where the distinction was between St. Louis, King of France, because that was there.
St. Louis, they came before St. Angela. But St. Louis, King of France, I think around Lakeshore Drive was the demarcation between St. Louis, King of France, and St. Angela kids. Because I think bus 199 only went to Lakeshore Drive.
So so if you had to live between the canal and Veterans to go to St. Louis, King?
All the way to the interstate, I think, maybe.
But it was all the way up the lake. So this one.
Yeah. What was all the way to the lake?
Well, St. Louis, King of France is closer to the lake.
It is. But there's no schools. Maybe, you could go all the way to Veterans. But anyway, maybe if John Blanchard from Rock and Roll was listening, he could probably call in and give us a rundown of that. And then he used to teach at St. Louis, but he coached at Lakeshore. So
I was just seeing like a very small portion of the city to have two pro schools.
Well, St. Angela's when veterans like off from Melody. So it's sort of like in between. There you go. All right. So anyway, I got Greg. Okay, let's
get back to law.
Let's get back to law. Who is John?
John.
Hey, John from Oswego. You on all things legal, Doug? I'm sorry, Charlie.
I had an accident at a big box store about 11 months ago. I was wondering, is there a timeline that I could file a
lawsuit? 1 year.
1 year.
But how did it happen?
Tripped over a carpet that was had risen about applications off the floor.
Okay, all right,
1
well,
year.
you got 1 year. Here's your legal standard for doing that, is that, that the carpet had to be defective, the defect was created an unreasonably dangerous condition, the defect caused your accident, and you have to show that the retailer knew or should have known about the defect and did nothing about it. Those are tough cases, but so that you have to jump through some hoops to get that, or to prevail on that. So but you have 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. That's it. Did I say that right?
You did it great.
Well, here's the deal with
It's hard.
laws with retailers.
Mhm.
Prior to 1990,
Mhm.
you know, anytime you slipped and fell, there was liability in stores. So they had slip and fall Charlie, slip and fall people who made a living doing that, Schwegmans and places like that. And so then they changed the law to make it, I guess, more retail.
More business friendly.
Yeah, more business friendly, and basically you have to show that, and it's a tough thing. It was a defect.
Mhm.
It was unreasonably dangerous. The unreasonably dangerous defect was the cause of the accident, and that you have to show that they knew about it.
Mhm.
So, for example, if someone's like that, let's say, I can't say Schwegmans anymore because they're not around. Let's say our favorite store, Rouse's.
Okay.
We love Rouse's. Is if someone like spilled some orange juice, dropped it, and then somebody went and slipped on it, there would be no liability because Rouse's didn't have a chance to clean it up, or they didn't, it happened instantaneously, and they have to show that they had some type of cleanup procedure that would have.
Now, a different factual scenario. Somebody spills the orange juice. The guy in produce sees it and he walks right past.
Right, that's different. Or we had back, I think about 15, 20 years ago, not against Rouse's, because we love Rouse's. It was against another grocery store. They had an employee dragging a mop around the store,
Mhm.
and somebody tripped over it. And then, that was a situation where the hazard was created by the employee. So it's basically to protect the retailers, because there was a lot of abuse. And I remember when I first started practicing law, they had these slip and falls, and they had people who had maybe 10 or 15 slip and falls. Who was that NASH episode, 5 o'clock Charlie? With the, well, you had slip and fall Charlie.
Right.
He did 15 or 20 times,
Right.
and
And it's bad for business.
it's bad for business. That's why you want business to move in.
Right.
So that's the new law on slip and falls, and that's why you don't see like MB on TV. One call, that's all for slip and falls.
Yeah.
You like that? He doesn't do that. There's a reason he doesn't do that. He says rear end collision against a big truck. No, they got plenty of money. You like that? All right, well, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demer Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time.
Where's that guy's name?
On your next WWL First
I
News,
think
it's
it's
Lucky Draw.
$2,000 issue.
Grades might not be
Involves
that.
nursing home.
No. Well, there's an income. I don't know the income requirement.
I think it's 20
Slidell.
something.
What's his name?
We have Jerry from Sunseri. Jerry has a question about disability and making money.
All right.
Disability
We
and
have
what?
Jason from Mandeville. Jason's question is about eviction.
Okay.
But local original, just like you always.
Does learning a language
Can we
feel
evict
like
right now?
this? No habla
I
español.
couldn't. I didn't evict. My guy didn't even show up.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you can. You have to sign a verification if they're trying to get apply for all benefits and then when they didn't get it. They have to sign some kind of affidavit attesting. They've done everything they can to attempt to maintain it.
Well, why would they sign that?
Well, it's just a law. It says that they've tried. Well, they do, saying that They have applied for all available benefits.
Oh, they have to do it to
Yeah.
fight it.
Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper
Your hair
or paper
goes
soap.
so fast.
This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com.
That's
What's
where
your
Current is.
one thing?
Huh?
That's where
Doug
Current
loves
is.
personal Toyota RAV4. It lets him do all the things he loves to do. But what does Bo, Doug's
What?
dog, think
Good
about it?
call,
We
Greg.
hired a dog whisperer to find out.
You still do
Okay,
what?
let's start.
Keith has one on.
He says he loves the new hook. Really?
Grew
Especially
up
the
with his fault. We met him on our honeymoon with his little brother.
very specific.
Steve.
He wants to
I
take the
always saw
RAV4
somebody
camping.
over
He
in
finds the
the
lack of squirrels to chase it home unacceptable. Okay? He asks why you didn't take him bungee jumping last weekend. Because he's, a dog? Just because he sleeps in a crate, don't put him in a box. He wants to bungee jump. Seriously? He'll forgive you for a cookie. Sorry, Bo. 2 cookies. Okay. The new RAV4, man and dog's new best friend. Get $1,000 customer cash for qualified lessees. It's a new 2021 RAV4 LE for only $249 a month for 36 months.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I'm not up on the
Let's go
Medicaid,
places. See packages
regular
options
Medicaid.
at Toyota.com featuring
I know you have, you
Visit
can't
by
have
Toyota.com.
more than
Details on Wednesdays and
There's
21.
an income
If you
requirement.
or a loved one are suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Betty.
We help people.
Is that like
find
Louisiana
their
Chip
detox.
kit?
Minimal
Yeah,
withdrawals.
there's all kinds of.
Even though it's a 10-day treatment, I look at the first 4 or 5 days as the brain restoration piece. And when the brain restoration piece turns on, that's when we have patients go, wow, a light bulb turned on or a switch was turned on. All of a sudden, their prefrontal cortex is
Sounds
working.
like Nicholas
Doorbell.
played
And
well.
their midbrain is also working. They're not craving. They're thinking clearly. They see
Played
things
well,
clearly.
they won
And
the
they have
first
more
2 games,
confidence.
lost the
Put
third.
your addiction
Paul said
behind
he
you.
played
Call
really well.
Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach.
Okay, this is the last spot. We have Lisa from Slidell. The state question. Gary from Metairie, and he has a disability question. Sorry, Gary from Metairie.
We want to take Lisa first.
That's the eviction question.
Let's take Lisa first, okay? Can we take Lisa
Is a
first?
condition where your pancreas is unable
Doug?
to break down your food.
I hear you.
Yeah, we'll take Lisa first.
Diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Back to WWL and all things legal with attorneys Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Connect on the WWL Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demers Sunseri. You're looking live. Yes, we're out of town. Doing remote, but somebody's at our house, so anybody's thinking of getting ideas. We got people at our house.
And a bunch of dogs.
A bunch of dogs who bite you.
That's right.
If Nicholas, our nephew, did they win?
They won the first 2 and lost the third.
Bellhaven, who are they playing? Bell. I want to give a shout out to Xavier University.
Oh, I know.
Baseball program is being revived since 1960.
That's exciting.
Fantastic. So
I know.
best of
And we
luck,
heard the
great
coach on
success.
TV. He seemed like he was.
Yeah, he was a great coach. He was
Mhm.
very enthused. So we wish Xavier University, their new baseball team, since 1960, bring home a championship
That's
right away.
right.
And we saw that one of the ex-baseball players was the great Otis Washington from
Oh,
St.
that's
Aug.
right.
From St. Aug.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Keith Newton, who I think he's one of the vice presidents, senior PGA, from New Orleans, and he was been in professional sports all his life. I think he started out at WDSU's in the sports department, We used to have a running bet between the Dallas South St. Aug game back in the 70s and 80s every year, and the loser would have to um, uh, uh, pay the green fees. Well, I paid a lot of green fees during that time period because Coach Washington used to kick us. But anyway, so there you go. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Lisa in Slidell's got an estate question. Hey, Lisa, you know all things legal with Doug Sunseri. Michelle Demerson Sunseri. Hey, Lisa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I have, yes, a real estate question. My parents were deceased and left their home to, 4 siblings. One sibling lives in the home, and we'd like for her to be able to take advantage of the homestead exemption. If we sign the property over to her, can she then will it back to us upon her death, or would it be forcibly go to her heir?
Well, does she have any children under the age of 24?
No.
Okay, does she have any children at all?
Yes, 1 is 40.
All right, is that child, no disability issues, no alcohol
Correct.
issues? Okay. She can, but remember, she can always change her will.
Right, right.
So if she wills it to you and she doesn't change her will, then.
But now, if y'all let her have it and go on undivided ownership, a fourth, she still can claim the homestead exemption.
The tax assessor said no, because she's the only one that lives there, but there's 4 others.
What parish?
Washington.
A lot of tax assessors will allow a homestead exemption if one of the owners live there.
Obviously, they check it.
But obviously, you check with that. Well, what you could do is you could do a counter letter where she would sign over, y'all sign over ownership, and then she does a counter letter sending it back to you, selling it back to the 3 siblings. Or you could do maybe some type of, you could do a mortgage on it. That's a good idea. You can do a mortgage on the property so that if she ever sells it, y'all would get y'all's 3/4 back.
It's just to protect it.
Protect, yes.
Okay.
So
But
that,
if she did do the will would stand.
no, yeah, but you can change the
You
will.
can change your will, and so when we sit with people, we're always the what if. So what if she winds up with somebody in her life is very influential and says, change your will? I mean, there's just so many things that could go wrong.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you, right. So if a will, you can change at any time. Now, theoretically, it would work. She'd be on the honor system, but, the files in our file cabinet
We have
don't,
cabinets full of.
they don't adhere to the honor system, and that's why they're in our file cabinet. So,
There's just different ways that you can do it to make sure everybody's.
yeah, there's a way to structure it with possibly mortgages and to protect y'all's interests and let her have that. I would appeal to, I say appeal, I would double check with the assessor, or at least ask for a supervisor, because a lot of times here what happens is a lot of times the front line employees or intake people will say things, and then when you talk to their supervisor, they say, well, no, that's not right. You can do it this way. So a lot of times when you have these close questions, I go higher. And a lot of times I do that with banks all the time, with powers of attorney and letters of administration. The frontline employees will say, no, you can't do this. And then I end up talking to the counsel for the financial institution or maybe the supervisor and say, no, they just didn't know. Yes, you can do this and they allow that. So what I would do is appeal to a higher, go to their supervisor and find out that that policy is correct.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for the call. Let's go to, Gary's got a question for Mary about disability. Hey, Gary, you know all things legal.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, when I tuned in, you guys were talking a little bit about disability and Social Security. I'm on disability, and can you make money while you're on disability? I have a few friends of mine that are on disability too. We get different kind of information from the
what disability, are you an SSDI or SSI?
SSDI.
Um,
I'm under 65.
you know what, I'm gonna have to pass on that.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I know on SSI, you can earn up to about $700 a month. On SSDI, I think this is the concept, is basically you're saying that you're disabled from working, then you're getting you a benefit from being paid out, which you paid into the Social Security system. So I would, if anybody wants to call in or text us, and give us a clarification, but I would think not. Now, they may have some type of offset. Now, I'm speaking without knowing that there may be an offset if you make some, but your Social Security disability income is based on the fact you can't work. So, but don't confuse it in your research with SSI, because there are certain circumstances on SSI you can earn, I think, up to about $800 without losing your benefit.
Right.
All right.
So what we want to do is try to kind of supplement some things because someone.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, just make sure when you research, and don't confuse SSI with SSDI. Because a lot of, because they're different requirements. All right, let's go to Jason. Got a question regarding evictions. Hey, Jason, you know all things legal.
Good morning, and happy Mother's Day to y'all.
Yes. Me too. All right.
So there's a rough time to live in.
Yes, sir.
And there's a eviction moratorium. I've been out of work, been able to spend full time with my 4-year-old boy. That means I've done everything I can to try to deal with the rental assistance and that, and you already know how all that kind of goes. Well, I've done all that. The house I'm living in got sold in December, and now there's new owners. And he told me he was going to work with me and do what he can, because he knows the kid, right?
Right.
He told me a week ago that he's not going to renew my lease in April. The question is, there be an eviction moratorium until March 31st? If people in Washington sign another bill and they go until September, my question is he's not going to renew my lease? Is that actually being evicted? Because the whole point of the eviction moratorium is not to put somebody up on the streets during this tough time we're living in.
Well, there's a distinction between eviction for non-payment and a lease in existence versus the expiration of a lease. We parachute you in. I think that would be, you'd have to go, they would bring you to justice of peace. Have you been, I would say that the expiration of a lease would probably be treated differently. And it would be more likely that the landlord would be able to prevail on an eviction under that fact scenario, as opposed to you in the middle of a 12-month lease and non-payment. That's what I'm going through right now. And you always talk about your property flow. He told me the other day that he's going to work for me, and he told me, and actually you have a cat that's not on the lease. Well, I looked at my lease last night, and it said I did a pet deposit, and so a pet deposit, I would think it would be a pet deposit. But then I read in the fine print, approved for one standard poodle that I have. Well, I guess in the fine print it didn't say anything about the cat, but it didn't, like a pet deposit, I would think you should have 1 or 2 dogs. I don't think that would be a basis for eviction though. So I don't know that somebody.
Yeah, but I don't think a pet provision for a dog extends to cats. They're different animals, and I don't think that's a basis.
But what I'm saying from a practical standpoint, I don't think they would do an eviction at this point based on that.
No, but the moratorium is only for non-payment.
Yes, for non-payment.
It's not for breach of. It's not for
but
breach of.
it sounds like your lease ran out, so that might be different. But thanks for the call. Okay, thanks for the call. Let's go to break, Doug Sunseri, Michelle Dimmer, Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back if there's free time out.
You know, being in the Big Easy, there's always a lot to love. And this year, especially since we have so much to be thankful for, Party girl,
I'm
video,
telling you
having
what,
3
all
minutes.
these phrases, these terminologies,
Bill,
because you were saying in essence,
SSD.
easy. Now
No,
through Sunday,
but-
we're offering 5 years zero interest financing on anything and everything. Yes, you heard right. Pick anything in Diamonds Direct at the guaranteed best value price and
meaning
spread
you
your
worked long
payments over
enough and
5
you
years
paid in.
without
You paid
paying
in.
a dime in interest. What better way to celebrate the things you love during these fun times? How about a $6,000 pair of gorgeous diamond stud earrings for just $100 a month? Or a $12,000 yellow diamond engagement ring for just $200 a month? Let the good times roll, New Orleans. Get to Diamonds Direct for
Because
some
I think
Mardi
I
Gras and
understand when I hear
Valentine's
you,
play.
I'm like,
And take advantage of this amazing offer. 5 years, zero interest financing. Only at Diamonds Direct. Open this Sunday 1 to 5 on Severn Avenue.
Yeah, and the
across from
moratorium is
Lakeside.
only for
Hi,
non-payment.
I'm Rick Edelman.
Well,
I
it's
have a
gonna depend
feeling
on if you listen.
retirement is on your mind.
You're getting it all over
Wondering
you.
if you've saved enough,
News
or
for
whether
the- all
your
the
money is in
other-
the right places. You're wondering, when will you be able to retire, or will you be able to stay retired? And is your money sufficient so you can live in comfort and financial security for the rest of your life? You're wondering all this, but you really don't have to just wonder. You can resolve all these questions in your effort to enjoy a retirement that's everything you want it to be. And we can help. At Edelman Financial Engines, our clients are predominantly concerned about retirement, your financial security for your spouse, for your aging parents, for your children. And we can help you just like we've helped thousands of folks just like you for more than 30 years. So call us at Edelman Financial Engines at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com. Don't wonder about your retirement, because we're here to help. That's 888-PLAN-RIC.
Doing your best work from home is not easy if you don't have the right space.
Second half.
California Closets will help you
I think
create a
most people
custom
tune
solution
in
that works for you, your family, and your life. Whether it's a small space, shared space, multifunctional space, or kids space, our professional design consultants will help you get organized and make your space one that works better for you. Now you can love where you live and work. Schedule your free in-home or virtual design consultation today at californiaclosets.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you, even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-1509.
Separated for 11 and enrollment
your
for 10.
favor. Call 800-555-1509. Big Lou will answer your call.
That's
Or
interesting.
switch you into a term life policy that
So they
you
got
can
married while
afford.
they're separated.
Remember, Big Lou's like you.
They
He's
were
on
married
next
for
too.
10 years,
Call
and then they all separated.
800-555-1509.
Oh,
800-555-1509.
Progressive makes both.
Okay, here we go. Bill's on the line.
Get a
Phil,
multi-policy discount.
how much time we have?
Buying your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and
And
save
like
at
2
Progressive.
minutes.
How much time do we have, Doug?
Now, more on Bill's on the phone.
How much time we got?
Sunseri Law Firm. 3 minutes.
3 minutes? All right.
Shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
All right, we're back. Let's, Phil, we got about a minute. Phil, you on all things legal.
Good morning. I'm calling concerning my elderly mother who's just diagnosed with dementia.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering, what do I need to do to put in place where I can make decisions for her and take care of her business?
Oh.
She agree to it being dementia, or
Well, is,
something that's a process I can go through?
oh, which stage of dementia is she in? Early?
They just diagnosed her.
Does she have good days, bad days? Or does she know who you are?
Yeah.
Can she read?
Yeah.
Okay, if she's in early stage dementia, you could probably do a power of attorney. Provided she understands, because if she's lucid and because dementia's in and out. You might have one day where you're out, one day you're in. If you're in the early stages, you could probably do a power of attorney. I'm saying that generally, but we'd have to make that assessment when we met with her.
Right, okay. And she should feel like a house and she fucking land.
Yeah.
That needs to be taken care of, so,
Yes.
so to be able to do things.
Now, let me tell you, if she does a will and she does a power of attorney, my suggestion would bring it to the doctor in the morning that you bring it to the lawyer, so that if she executes these documents, you have a note saying that she's doing well that day.
Okay, great.
That would probably be the best way of doing it. All right, Phil? Give us a call at 504-837-1304.
On the North Shore, 985-624-9697.
So there you go. Yeah, so basic, thanks, Phil. Yeah, that's a tough thing. Just dementia has several stages.
Right.
And you can execute legal documents in early stages of dementia as long as you know.
Yeah, and he's gonna want to do POA sooner rather than later, because if it gets too, if you lose your legal capacity, then you're gonna be looking at an interdiction.
Right.
Which is much
It's about 10 times more expensive,
and
at
about
least.
10 times longer.
And so, but if you're in a situation where someone with dementia wants to do a will or early stages, it's a good idea to bring them set the doctor's appointment with them that morning, do the will right after or the power of attorney after, so that at least you have a doctor saying that.
Yeah, and that's just somebody contested.
Yeah, but still, it's probably a good policy just in case, if it's contested.
Yeah, I also video. If I
Yeah.
have somebody like that, I'll ask them a bunch of questions in video and keep the video.
He asks questions like, who's the president?
Who's president?
And
What's today's date?
If they say Herbert Hoover, you
know.
put your pen down and say,
I think it's
yeah, we're not gonna do that. So, and then, well, I always ask, did the Saints win the Super Bowl? If they don't know that, you know that and they look from New Orleans, you say, you gotta stop that. All right, Michelle, well, thank you for joining us. And,
Thank you for having me.
And responding to my elbow this morning. I say that figuratively, because you're way up before me. So we'll be back next week in all things legal. Have a
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
Time. That's what I said.
And happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras. Stay warm. And we're going to have a Mardi Gras 2022.
Yeah, we're going to go down to Destin Center Mardi
Yeah,
Gras.
we've got our own Mardi Gras in Destin. So be good, be blessed. See you next week on All Things Legal.
You know, he got all over the floor here.
Assessing a person's mental matter often requires extensive interviews.